What if the reason you're still not wealthy has nothing to do with how hard you work? That sounds impossible because almost everything we've been taught says the opposite. Work harder, stay disciplined, keep grinding, and one day, success will come. It sounds like common sense, but here's something worth thinking about. Some of the hardest working people in America still live paycheck to paycheck. They wake up early, work long hours, sacrifice weekends, and somehow they're still stuck. So ask yourself one question. If hard work alone created wealth, why isn't everyone working hard already rich? Because the truth is, hard work can increase your income, but it can't fix bad financial habits, and that's where most people get trapped. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because they're trying to solve a mindset problem with more effort. Think about it. If every raise immediately becomes a nicer apartment, a newer car, or a more expensive lifestyle, you're not building wealth. You're simply upgrading your stress. It feels like progress, but it's not. You're just running faster on the same treadmill. And that's the mistake millions of people quietly make every single year. Working hard feels productive. It feels responsible. It feels like you're doing everything right. But sometimes being busy becomes a distraction because it's easier to keep working than to ask one uncomfortable question. Is what I'm doing today actually bringing me closer to financial freedom? That question changes everything because the moment you ask it honestly, you stop confusing motion with progress, and those are two very different things. Most people think income and wealth are the same thing. They're not. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. Income pays the bills. Wealth buys freedom. That's why someone earning $200,000 a year can still feel broke, while someone earning far less can quietly become financially secure. The paycheck isn't the biggest difference. What happens after the paycheck arrives is, and here's where almost everyone gets it wrong. Most people think the biggest financial mistake is buying luxury. It's not. The biggest trap is buying comfort, the newer phone, the bigger SUV, food delivery instead of cooking, subscriptions you barely use, little rewards that don't seem expensive because none of them hurt on their own, but together they quietly shape your future. Nobody stays broke because of one big purchase. They stay broke because of hundreds of tiny decisions that slowly become normal. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous, because comfort never looks like a bad decision. It feels deserved. It feels harmless. Sometimes it even feels responsible. But over time, comfort becomes a lifestyle, and lifestyles are expensive to maintain. Here's something most people never realize. Your bank account doesn't care how hard you work today. It responds to the habits you repeat every week. One habit won't change your life, but one habit repeated for years absolutely will. That's why, if money keeps disappearing month after month, you probably don't have a money problem. You have a pattern problem. And patterns are almost impossible to notice when you're living inside them. That's why people keep saying, I just need to make more money. And yes, earning more helps. But if your habits never change, more money usually creates a bigger version of the same problem. It doesn't fix the system, it simply feeds it. That's why some people get a raise and still feel broke, because the paycheck changed, but the person handling the paycheck didn't. And that's where everything starts to change, because wealthy people don't just earn differently, they think differently. Rich people don't just think about earning more, they think about direction. Every dollar has a purpose. Before they spend, they ask a simple question: where is this money going? Will this make my future better? Or just make today feel easier? Those questions sound simple, but over time, they create completely different lives. Most people ask, can I afford this? Wealthy people ask, is this worth my future? Those are two completely different questions, because every dollar can only do one job. It can entertain your present or strengthen your future. It can't fully do both. That's why money rarely disappears overnight. It disappears one emotional decision at a time, one impulse purchase, one unnecessary upgrade, one reward that feels good for a few hours. Then it's gone, and the cycle begins again. For many people, spending isn't really about money. It's about stress, boredom, comparison, loneliness, pressure. Buying something new creates excitement, but only for a moment. Then your brain adapts, and suddenly it wants something even newer. That's why advertising rarely sells products. It sells feelings, status, confidence, success, belonging. It quietly convinces you that one more purchase will finally make you feel complete. But it never does, because happiness can't be financed and freedom can't be bought with debt. That's why two people earning exactly the same salary can end up living completely different lives. One slowly buys assets, the other slowly buys payments. One builds choices, the other builds obligations. The income was never the difference, the decisions were. That's why most people don't actually need a bigger paycheck. They need a bigger pause. A pause before clicking buy now. A pause before upgrading something that still works. A pause long enough to ask one life-changing question: am I buying this to build my future or to escape my present? That one question can save you thousands of dollars. It might even change your life. The people who build wealth usually don't have a secret strategy. They simply master one rare skill. They learn how to wait. They protect their money long enough for it to grow. They become comfortable saying, not now, because they know every unnecessary yes today can become a painful no tomorrow. That's the real difference. Not intelligence, not luck, not even income at the beginning. It's patience, it's discipline, it's emotional control, the ability to delay comfort for something far more valuable: freedom. And that's why so few people ever achieve it, because controlling yourself is much harder than earning another paycheck. Most people trade tomorrow's freedom for today's comfort, again and again, until one day they wake up wondering where all the years and all the money went. So if you've been working harder, but your life still feels the same, maybe the answer isn't more hustle. Maybe it's better decisions, better habits, better questions. Because your future won't be changed by one big decision. It will be shaped by hundreds of tiny choices, made consistently, day after day, month after month, year after year. That's how wealth is really built. So before you spend your next dollar, stop for just a moment and ask yourself, will this purchase make my future stronger, or just make today feel better? Because that single question has the power to change every financial decision you make from this day forward. And here's the truth. Most people spend years learning how to make money. Very few ever learn how to keep it. That's why wealth doesn't begin when your income changes. It begins when your behavior changes. Your paycheck starts the journey, but your habits decide where that journey ends. So ask yourself one final question. Are you building a future or simply surviving today? Because your answer may explain why your money keeps disappearing. Once you truly understand that, you'll never look at money the same way again. If this video changed the way you think about money, subscribe for more videos on wealth psychology, smarter financial decisions, and building real financial freedom.